Welcome back to the restoration. On today's exciting episode, what we're going to do is do some body filler, primer, and paint on the center console. Show and what I need to really concentrate on. This part here connects up in here, and you can see it covers up most of that part that I had to manufacture. Also, this one comes up down here. So basically on this piece, there's only very little bit of it that I have to make pretty. Also, when the lid of the tractor is open, these parts will show here and this as well. So I'll try to make that pretty as well. Now, as you can see, there's a couple parts on here that I forgot that were part of the center console, which is the battery tray here and the thing that holds it all together. So what I plan on doing now, as you can see, I've started a little bit of my light sanding here. Do some light sanding, some refining of the metal where it's going to show, get some more epoxy on it, then get the primer on it, the Great Primer. See how that goes. Well, here's the parts, the glazing putty on the parts that are going to show. I did some light sanding, degreased it, and then put the glazing putty on. All right, here's some of the sanding that I've done on the glazing putty. Put that on there, and do what they say. Don't put too much on because it gums up your. It'll gum up your sandpaper if you put too much of it on there. And also the other two pieces that I did not do any painting on it yet for the center console. I've got those scratched up with 80 grit, and I'm gonna put some phosphoric acid on it, just like I did the other ones, and then wipe it off so at least if there's any rust in there, that phosphoric acid should neutralize it. And I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna put body filler on there first and then put the epoxy primer, or put the epoxy primer on there and then body filler. I think I'm going to do it the other way around, like get it sealed up with the epoxy and then do that. And then we'll get this thing hopefully back together and looking good. Well, here are the second time around. It's got a little body filler in there now. And here are my pieces hanging. I'll take them out there and throw the epoxy primer over this body filler that I put on there. This is the glazing putty. And it should smooth things out a little bit. And it turned out great with the black epoxy primer. Well, I found one of these tabs that I hadn't welded quite enough, so I gotta, sand this back down, a little bit of grinding, and then weld this back on. And the last two pieces of the center console, the actual panels that hide the outside, I was able to get the hinge off of here with no problem. And now I'm going to get these, put a little body filler, and get these going. I got some of that all metal loose enough to where I could use it on here. And the reason I did that is on this particular piece, you can see the pitted metal here. In those corners, it was so thin, I wanted to have a little bit of structural rigidity. Even though it's metal, it's really, really thin. Well, I mixed up a little bit too much of that all metal. So I took it and put it in all that pitted area on that little piece there. It's going to take me a little bit more to sand it, but it'll be pretty sturdy when I'm done. That'll fix all the little pits in there and make that nice little piece of sheet metal pretty rigid. So I've just made a lot of work for myself sanding now. We'll see how it turns out. Well, I put the all metal on here, sanded that, threw a little bit more regular old Bondo on there, and I've been using, helps out a lot when I use the power tool. So I'm throwing a power tool on there just to knock down the big stuff, and then I hand sand it to get it smooth. So there you go. Well, after sanding for about an hour, this is what you get, and nice and smooth. This side is going to be the inside where you don't see, and it's almost perfectly smooth, but on the outside it's nice and perfectly smooth. Anyway, so that's that piece, and we're just ready to prime this one and do some more body filler if I need to, or glazing putty, and get the primer and paint on it, see how it looks. Also, I finished up the weld on that one. Now I got to get cleaned up, get that thing cleaned up, that is, and get it ready for more priming. It had already been primed and sanded and primed again, so more work on that piece. Show you what it looks like when it's done with that. Putting the paint on it sure will show you the flaws in your body work, which is nice, but it laid down silky smooth again. Got 2 coats on there right now. We'll put 1 more coat on, and then we'll go with the other primer, and that's where we start doing a little bit more body work to make it nice and smooth. Anyway, let's get that other coat on. Well, here she is. I just put it back together with a couple of bolts just to show how it goes, and it's looking pretty good. No more rust. Now I see the areas that I need to concentrate on to polish out, which is the areas that show the stuff behind there. I was going to polish that out under here and all that, but I don't think I'm going to do that. It takes too much time, and I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with this yet. Golly, I don't know. I may have to weld some metal in there. Anywho, these are the parts, the couple of parts that didn't rivet on, these are the parts that screw on. This will go somewhere in here. But you can see the paint's on there pretty nicely, and it's got a little bit of a texture to it, but all the parts that show like this and this, I'm going to be rubbing out and buffing out to make it look like a glass. But that's the center console, kind of back together.
And now, back to another exciting episode of Tractor Chat.
Welcome back to Tractor Chat. I just need to say thank you one more time to Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer, thank you for stopping in and showing us your 3-point hitch. My producer says someone's on the line. Beverly Hills, California, you're on the air.
Hi, Chaser, it's Megan Fox. Won't you please make out with me?
Megan Fox, I must say you are persistent, but my answer is still no. I will not make out with you because I'm happily married. Well, that's all the time we have in this show. Stick around for our next show where we show how to take your 10 horsepower Kohler engine and turn it into a 7,000 horsepower beast for about 5 minutes and under 20 bucks. You'll mow your lawn in under 1.2 seconds. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching.